my God, they ripped his arm off.
Oh.
This is terrible, man. I got a lot of money on this game. Do you think they can sew it back up, Kevin?
I don't know. Asking the wrong person. You need somebody like Vivien Thomas to do that.
Let me guess. She was an African-American doctor.
No, young lady. You're wrong. He was one of the most brilliant and respected surgeons ever. But he wasn't a doctor. In fact, he never even went to medical school. The story starts all the way back in 1893 when, believe it or not, heart surgery was actually pioneered by an African-American surgeon, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. But most people don't know that, just like black cowboys. Early black medical heroes were largely forgotten. And as Jim Crow laws got worse, it got harder and harder for talented African Americans to advance in the field of medicine. By the 1930s, fewer and fewer blacks were getting into predominantly white medical schools. One exception was a kid from Louisiana named Vivien Thomas. He was accepted to Vanderbilt University, but then had to drop out when the Great Depression hit, and his family's savings were wiped out. Thomas wound up taking a job doing carpentry, working on campus until he could save up enough money to complete his education. That's where he saw an opening for a research surgical technician and soon found himself literally on the cutting edge of the brave new field of cardiac surgery. Thomas's boss was Dr. Alfred Blalock, who was immediately impressed by Thomas's remarkable grasp of surgical technique and flair for innovation. Soon, this mere technician was outshining the doctors around him, like when he pioneered a procedure to cure the serious pediatric heart defect known as blue baby syndrome.
Gentlemen, as you know, infants with blue baby syndrome have a congenital heart defect found in the ventricle wall and the pulmonary valve that prevents the full flow of blood from the lungs. Now, as a result, insufficiently oxygenated blood flows through the body, causing these babies to appear bluish. But I believe I devised a cure.
Yeah, right. Like I tell parents, there's only one cure for blue baby syndrome: paint. That's I know, it always gets a laugh. Then I tell them, sorry, your kid's going to die. So.
Well, not anymore. I've come up with a procedure that will connect the subclavian artery to the pulmonary artery, and it works.
It kind of ruins my joke, but I guess we can go with your idea.
Well, I put my heart into it, so, no? All right, nothing. Okay.
Even though he was a surgical prodigy who was teaching his techniques to the doctors, he was still paid only as a technician. News spread quickly of the innovations pioneered by Thomas and Blalock, or as they were known in the press, Blalock. Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore invited Blalock to be their new head of surgery, and he knew he needed Thomas to come with. But Baltimore was pretty segregated then. The only black employees were janitors.
Listen, Viv, I know you're disappointed you still can't afford medical school, but what does doctor mean anyway? It's just a title. The point is, you're gonna be respected for your work right here.
Somebody get a doctor. Oh.
Can I help?
Yes, get a mop. And find a doctor. Oh, and put those back where you found them. I don't know where you picked those up, but they're not for you. Oh!
I can't even believe this.
I don't think he intends to get a mop.
Soon, Dr. Blalock was performing the revolutionary procedures pioneered by Thomas. But even he knew he couldn't get through it without his secret weapon by his side.
Today, I will be among the first to operate on the human heart itself. But no, please, hold your applause until the end in case the patient dies.
What?
Whoa, more anesthesia. And there we go. First, I will make an incision here. First, I will make an incision here. Yeah. Now, once we pass the vena cava and transect the pulmonary artery, then we proceed to the. Oh my gosh, what is all of that? That's the subclavian artery. Now, you want to be careful because you don't want to nick anything. Whoa! Oh boy, that's a mess. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Doctor, your hands.
What?
Your gloves have fallen off.
Oh.
Let me get you some new ones.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'll just put that in my mouth. Here we go. Just one little pause for a second. They're awfully hard to get on. Oh boy, those babies are tight. Oh, that's much better. Phew! Now let's get to some cutting. Okay, here we go. And diving in. Now that's the ticket. Oh, no, please. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. So, you're right, because this is some fine work my hands are doing. Oh, gross me out. And crossing the finish line, and voila! I did it. Yes, thank you very much. And to celebrate, I'd like to have you all over for a cocktail party at my beautiful home tonight.
Will there be shrimp?
Oh boy, it's quick recovery. How are you? Very, very good. Thank you very much. Is he still? Yeah, he's still with us. All right, nicely done. Nicely done.
Thomas was soon teaching his techniques to surgical students at Johns Hopkins, but he was still paid as a technician, a fraction of Blalock's salary. So Blalock figured out a way to help Thomas make ends meet.
Viv Thomas, you have a surgical gift. Your sutures are God's own work. You could stitch up a wound before the blood hits the floor, but even more importantly, you make one hell of a daiquiri.
Somebody said daiquiri!
Thank you, Dr. Blalock. You're too kind. Key is a small incision at the midpoint of the strawberry.
Yes, instead of pushing for Thomas to get a fair salary, Blalock actually hired him as a bartender at his fancy parties.
You know, Viv, I just hate the fact that I make so much more money than you do, but here's the good news. My gutters are filthy, and I'd throw you a few bones if you got up there and cleaned them out. I think maybe a rat might have croaked up there or something. God only knows what's up there. Viv Thomas, earth to Viv, come back to me. There you are. So what do you say? You come up there and clean him out for me?
Sure, Dr. Blalock.
Oh, you are a good man. Take off early tonight.
But, sweetie, despite suffering the indignities of a system that didn't reward him for his brilliance, Vivien Thomas continued to innovate and train many future surgical department chiefs. And finally, at the age 66, he was awarded an honorary doctorate from Johns Hopkins, and his former students commissioned a portrait to be hung next to Blalock's in the lobby. But what you gotta think about is Thomas's most important legacy. I'm talking about the countless lives that he saved. Literally, sweetie, I'm talking about thousands of people who would have never lived past infancy. They all went on to enjoy long, meaningful lives thanks to the efforts of this man.